This company's brands can be found everywhere. You'd have to really be deliberate about not using one of their items on a daily basis. In this video, I'll teach you everything you need to know about this dividend king, including all of the important dividend metrics, a look at the actual business, whether this dividend stock is a candidate for selling covered calls, and whether you should buy it or simply invest in the world's best dividend ETF. Today, let's talk about Procter & Gamble, ticker symbol PG. It operates in the consumer staple sector of the economy, and they are a dividend king, since it has increased its dividend every year for the past 66 years. This is a truly excellent dividend company, but that's because they run a truly amazing business. Let's talk about it further because there are only 23 different dividend stocks that hold the coveted title of Dividend King. Procter & Gamble is a consumer goods conglomerate, encompassing many different brands. And like I said earlier, in order to avoid using one of Procter & Gamble's brands, you really have to try hard. If you have a baby, you probably use their diapers. If you have a washer or dryer, you probably use their laundry products. If you ever wipe down dirty surfaces or spills on countertops, you probably use their brand. Are you human? Which I'm guessing all of you are. Then you probably use one of their brands. Do you run a dishwasher? Do you brush your teeth? Then you probably use one of their brands. Kind of hard to avoid. Chances are that everyone interacts with one of these products on a daily basis. Looking at net sales by business segment in their annual report, you can see that this is a well-balanced company. Fabric and home care account for 35%, baby, feminine, and family care 25%, beauty 18%, healthcare 14%, and grooming 8%. Although North America accounts for the majority of their sales, they also have a considerable market share in Europe, Greater China, Asia, Pacific, Latin America, and India, the Middle East, and Africa. If you look here, net sales are increasing year over year like clockwork. 2020 was a horrible year for many businesses, but not for Procter & Gamble. Okay, let's get back to the crucial dividend metrics. Their current price per share for Procter & Gamble, as of this recording, is $149.09 per share. Remember, one of the most significant dividend metrics is dividend growth because this is how we fight inflation. Procter & Gamble has exceptionally strong dividend growth rates, 8.7% in 1 year, 6.7% in 3 years, 5.5% in 5 years, and 5.1% in 10 years. All of these percentages beat the long-term rate of inflation of 2 to 3%, and most recent years' dividends growth actually outpaces inflation right now. Very few companies can say that. Procter & Gamble's current dividend yield is 2.37%, and their historical 5-year average dividend yield is 2.64%. So this company is trading at a premium relative to its historical 5-year average dividend yield. But this is actually fairly common with quality dividend stocks. When we talk about dividend safety, we always talk about a dividend payout ratio based on free cash flow rather than net income because dividends are paid with cash, and a business must have free cash flow to pay a dividend consistently. And the stability we've talked about so far with Procter & Gamble is also shown in their dividend payout ratio. The 1-year 2021 payout ratio is 59%. When many businesses have been squeezed and had issues with the economy, Procter & Gamble were only at 66%. We're on the Macro Trends website, where I like to get a great view of historical free cash flow. And you'll notice historical free cash flow is really strong from 2012 to 2022 and the trailing 12 months. Very stable and increasing free cash flow per share. So we've got 2.37 yield again. Can we increase that yield by using covered calls? The first reality we're going to run into is that Procter & Gamble is priced at $149.09 per share, which means you need that number times 100, which is approximately 14,900 in order to own 100 shares and truly sell covered calls. I recognize that can be a massive barrier of entry for many dividend investors. Let's take a look at the option chain for Procter & Gamble. Let's look at two different options here, 10 days out and 30 days out. PG has weekly options, which I like because it lets me sell covered calls with shorter terms. The closer you sell to the stock's current price, the more money you'll get, but the more likely it is that your option will end up in the money and you'll be given the stock. So if you want to maximize your cash flow right now, you can sell right at the money, but then you're giving up any chance that the stock will go up in value. Let's look at the 28% delta. This means that I can sell a covered call with a strike price of $152.50, which is $3.50 out of the money. And before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, turn on the notification bell, and be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Delta's bid and ask prices are $66.75 per share. Let's say we could get 70 cents per share, which is right in the middle. We'd take 0.75 and let's say we could do that 3 times a month. I know this is a big assumption, but stay with me. So $2.25 per share every month times 12 months equals $27 per share every year. We also need to include our annual dividend though. The most recent dividend was 91.33 cents. If we multiply the most recent dividend by 4, we get $3.65 per share. So 27 plus 3.65 gives us an annual cash flow of $30.65 per share divided by the current price per share. The dividend yield would then be 20.55% if we divided this amount by the current price of the stock, which is $149.09. In reality, the dividend yield is probably going to be lower, but these are still great investments. Let's go back to our option chain and deal with a monthly option. We'll look at the option here on January 6, 2023. Let's choose an option that has a 23 delta. The bid and ask prices are 86 cents and $1.13 per share respectively. So we'll take right around $1 even. So we'll take $1 times 12 months, which is $12 per share in annual cash flow. Add in the yearly dividend of $3.65 per share, resulting in an annual cash flow per share of $15.65, which we divided by the current price of $149.9, yielding an annual dividend of 10.5%. Remember that our annual dividend without selling options is 2.37% right now, so we'll take 10.5 and divide that by 0.0245, which means that we're more than quadrupling our cash flow by selling covered calls. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a great way for the average investor to maximize cash flow, and depending on the delta you use, have an opportunity to grow the price per share as well. Is it a good idea for you to own Procter & Gamble in your portfolio? Procter & Gamble has a great dividend growth rate, a very safe dividend, and has been raising dividends for 66 years. They also have a great business model with brands that everyone uses every day. But selling covered calls is one of the best ways to increase cash flow from 2.37% to 10 to 20%. However, many investors may not be able to buy 100 shares because it would cost about $15,000, so this may not be for everyone. That doesn't mean you can't have Procter & Gamble in your own portfolio. It's a good dividend stock, but with a 2.37% yield, it might be hard to get enough cash flow from the dividend alone unless you have a lot of money and don't need a better yield. Given how much this company is part of our lives, it's a great way to protect ourselves when the economy is bad. But if you're looking for a higher cash flow from a better dividend and you can't get to 100 shares, then maybe the best option is to buy SCHD, the very best dividend ETF out there. The current dividend yield for SCHD is over 3.14%. It has a higher dividend growth rate than Procter & Gamble, and you get 100 dividend stocks rather than just one dividend stock. However, if you already own SCHD, you should be aware that Procter & Gamble is not included in this ETF. It is not one of the dividend stocks in the portfolio. I hope you learned something from this video. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Share your thoughts on this dividend stock and any other dividend stock you're interested in hearing more about. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.